Hello, and welcome back to It's a Scullion Thing, your weekly reminder that it could always be worse. You could be one of us. Because as you know, this is the show where children swear like dockers and fight like it's the All-Ireland. If this is your first time joining us, do me a favour. Go back to the start, because trust me, you need to be broken in gently before you dive head first into this. Because I really want you to come back, and you might not after this one. Oh, no, you're brave? And you don't want to go back to the start? Okay, in that case, I want you to close your eyes and picture the scene. One fierce wee woman raising 11 children. Yes, 11. Right in the heart of West Belfast, in the middle of the Troubles. Does that sound peaceful to you? Like a scene of wholesome family bliss? Hardly. The Scullions, I've said it before, and I'll say it again, are more like a strange and beautiful cross between the Peaky Blinders and Shameless, normally. Although, in this one, they're actually a little bit more like the Manson family. We're talking 6 girls, 5 boys, all packed like sardines into a tiny house that was bursting at the seams, where privacy didn't exist, and hand-me-downs were from 3 siblings ago. And if you made it through the day without having to wear someone's knickers, shoes or socks, that was considered a win. Now, chuck in some political unrest and the daily chaos of Belfast life, and you've got yourself pure, undiluted madness. But let's be honest, isn't that where all the best stories come from? These are the tales of the original Scullions. Variety's starting lineup, the founding members. And I swear, all these stories are at least 95% true, with a wee 5% sprinkle of magic, just to make them suitable for public consumption. I'm your host, Briege Scullion, the eldest of the next generation, born right into this madness. I grew up in that house alongside my aunts and uncles, and trust me, I've got the dark sense of humour to prove it. But this podcast isn't just about nostalgia, it's about grit, laughter, and the wild, wonderful mess that is family, especially a big, loud, fiercely loving West Belfast family. So, grab yourself a cuppa or something stronger, always recommended, and strap in, because you're about to dive head first into the world of the Scullions. And believe me, you've never heard anything quite like it. This is Belfast. This is my family. This is It's a Scullion Thing. But before we go any further, I have to warn you, like all the Scullion stories, this one contains bad language and possible fratricide. I think I'm pronouncing that properly. Fratricide. Anyway, and absolutely no respect for the Green Cross Code. So, if you're easily offended, oversensible, or a qualified road safety officer, this is not the podcast for you. So you need to switch off now. You have been warned. This Scullion story is called My Ma's Gonna Kill Me, Patsy versus Briege, the day the Green Cross Code was rewritten by the Scullions. So this Scullion story is a twofer one. This one introduces 2 very big characters in the Scullion family. The first is my mummy, Patsy Scullion. She is the second-born Scullion, and lovingly known in our family as Tiny Tears, because her bladder sits right under her eyes, or so you would think. Patsy will cry at the drop of a hat, but don't be fooled. Patsy is the sensitive one, unless you're directly related to her. Yeah, that's a whole nother story. I'll say this and I'll say no more. Remember Tommy Scullion, the eldest boy, the unofficial daddy of the house. Tommy, who wasn't afraid of anything or anyone. Well, guess what? He was, and still is, afraid of tiny tears. Patsy was the eldest sister of this brood, which automatically made her the second mummy. You see, my granny always had 5 or 6 jobs on the go. Well, she had to. She had 11 mouths to feed, remember? And they were all hungry little shits. So, Patsy automatically fell into the second mummy role, looking after the wee ones, trying to make sure they were clean, fed, watered, and didn't kill each other or get killed. You know, normal growing up stuff. And the second character in this tale is her wee sister, Briege Scullion, aka Bridie's shadow. Our Briege earned this nickname because, as the name suggests, Bridie could not leave the house without Briege following her, and even when Bridie thought it was safe and was able to sneak out of the house to get the bus to go to one of her many jobs, you can be guaranteed that our Briege was already on that bus hiding in the back, and that is 100% true. Now, after you hear this story, you might understand why Briege didn't want to stay with Patsy. Briege wasn't a typical Scullion, because while we are all very headstrong and stubborn, our Briege was on another level. I don't think our Briege has ever heard the word no, or if she has, I really don't think she understands what it means, and that's still to this day. So, it's a running joke in our family that if you're ever in trouble, do not ask Patsy for help. Patsy, with the best will in the world, is extremely accident prone. She has literally fallen off her feet at times. I've seen that happen. She has made it to the ripe old age of 60 something is completely beyond us all. She says it's because her guardian angels are watching over her, and she truly believes this. And I suppose to have survived as long as she did in the environment that she grew up in, there actually might be some truth in this. So the first act of kindness, or attempted murder, whichever way you want to look at it, that comes to mind is when Patsy tried to save Briege from being killed crossing the main road. Now, I've heard in the last month 25 different versions of this story, but I'm going to tell you the story that I was told when I was growing up. I did have a lot of nightmares as a child. So, as I said, our Briege was always a wee bit headstrong. Patsy would say she was a spoilt wee shit, but that's sisters for you. The story goes, my story goes, one day Patsy was minding a young Briege, as she did regularly with all her younger siblings, because Granny Bridie was working one of her many, many jobs. And on this beautiful sunny day in Andersonstown, Patsy wanted nothing more than to play outside with her friends and enjoy the sunshine. But that wasn't on the cards for Patsy this day, because it was laundry day. So Patsy had to do all the family's laundry, which meant walking to the laundrette, because remember, we were poor and didn't have our own washing machine. The closest laundrette was down at the Busy Bee on the Andersonstown Road. It was about 2 or 3 miles away from home. Not a big walk when you're young and fit. That is, unless you're carrying 2 oversized bags filled with sheets, blankets and dirty clothes for 12 people in the blistering heat. Ach, you can just imagine her with her oversized bags of dirty laundry over her shoulder, trudging down the Andytown Road. Unfortunately for Patsy, she had to take Briege with her, and on this day, Patsy was not in the mood to have her wee sister hanging out of her. And as the story goes, our Briege apparently was being extra annoying this day. You know, the way kids are when they want something. Briege did want something. She wanted an ice cream. Because it was a beautiful sunny day. Briege started early this day. I want, pecking Patsy's head. This went on for what seemed like ages, until eventually Patsy snapped. Patsy stopped dead in her tracks and roared at her wee sister. Stop being a wee shit! We barely have enough money for the laundry, so there's no way you're getting an ice cream. Stop it! Patsy turned and kept walking. Well, this did not go down well with our Briege at all. Remember I said, no is not a word she accepts, and to her credit, very rarely hears. Brace yourselves. Briege started walking behind Patsy. The fury was building inside her. Briege started plotting Patsy's demise. Well, she was swinging between plotting and fucking Patsy out of it in her head for speaking to her like that. So as they walked down the road, they were about halfway to the laundrette when they came to a very busy main road. Patsy stopped and grabbed hold of Briege. But it was too late. Briege had already spotted the ice cream parlour across the road. Yes, again, this was the 70s. Ice cream parlours were a thing. So, Briege went to make a beeline for the shop. Patsy grabbed hold of her by the scruff. A struggle ensued, and what followed next is anybody's guess. Apparently, according to Patsy, she grabbed hold of her little sister to tell her to stop behaving in such a manner and to act responsible. They were beside a busy main road, and this behaviour was very dangerous. Seriously, Mummy? Do you really expect us to believe you said that? Please don't kill me. Anyway, there they were. Briege was pulling and dragging and struggling to break free. Patsy, wrestling with 2 oversized bags of laundry, was trying to control Briege. But it was no use. Briege broke free and bolted straight out onto the road. Briege got hit by a double-decker bus. The double-decker bus hit Briege straight on, sending her 20 feet into the air. Okay, right. 20 feet may be a slight exaggeration, but you know what I mean. Anyway, Patsy was standing on the sidelines. All the breath had left her body. She was watching as her wee sister was floating in slow motion through the air like a feather. All Patsy was thinking was, oh my God, I've killed Briege. My man's gonna kill me. Then, smack! Briege eventually came back down to earth with a clatter. She smacked off the ground like a cracked egg. Patsy was looking at her wee sister lying on the ground like a wee broken bag of bones. Tears were streaming down Patsy's face. All she could think was, Briege! Briege is dead. Briege is definitely dead. When the next thing, like a demented little marionette puppet, Briege jumps to her feet and starts running up the road, screaming back at Patsy. I'm telling on you, Patsy, you're dead. And off she goes, running up the street as fast as her wee, unbroken legs could carry her, leaving the poor bus driver cradling his rosary beads and in a state of shock, along with her sister. Patsy snapped out of it and took off running after Briege, knowing that even though Briege had been hit by a double-decker bus, she was never going to catch her. Their house was about a mile away from where the incident had happened, uphill. Patsy could see Briege in the distance. She had no chance of catching her. Deep down, Patsy prayed for another double-decker bus to hit Briege, only half joking this time, because she knew the minute her mummy found out what had happened, she was dead. So Patsy kept chasing after her. Briege was closing into the house, closer and closer. Patsy could see the front door. Oh shit, oh shit. Patsy could see Briege knocking on the front door. Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. The next thing all Patsy saw was Briege falling backwards. Once again, bang. Briege slapped off the ground. By the time Patsy got to the front door, she was nearly blind. She felt like she was bleeding out of her eyes and her lungs were going to pop out her mouth. she saw a very young, shocked Sean Scullion standing in the doorway. Patsy managed to push out the words, "What did she say?" And a very confused, frightened, shocked young Sean Scullion said, She said you pushed her in front of a double-decker bus." Patsy just thought to herself, "Fuck! My ma's gonna kill me!" The good news is, my Granny Bridie didn't kill my mummy. Thankfully, or I wouldn't be here to entertain you. Briege lived, but will never let Patsy forget the day she pushed her in front of a double-decker bus. Nay, my mummy swears down that Briege jumped and she didn't push her. You see, I'm biased. No, not because Patsy's my mummy and I automatically believe her. No, because I know the two of these lovely, well-adjusted women. I have to say that. They know where I live. And I know they are both more than capable of pushing or jumping. So, I'm putting it out to public opinion. What do you think? Did Briege jump or did Patsy push her? So, the moral of this Scullion story is, always look left and right when crossing the road. And if you see Patsy Scullion hanging around, stay where you are. That's it for this week's episode of It's a Scullion Thing. Thanks for surviving another round of Scullion Mayhem with us. Remember, if you ever feel like your family's nuts, just think of us and all will be restored in your world. Catch you next week with more family drama and disasters. Don't forget to like, subscribe and follow wherever you get your podcasts. See you soon. Mind yourselves. Bye.